Hi everybody, welcome to week 8 of my NFL bets series. Last week was a very successful week for me overall. My player prop on Drake May over 201.5 passing yards hit, no problem. And my bet on the Chiefs' money line was also a winner. Looking around at other results in the league as it pertains to my futures bets, the Lions defeated the Vikings, which is a huge win in their race for the division. And last night, on Thursday Night Football, the first game of Week 8, the Vikings lost. And that also, essentially puts them 2 games behind the Lions now, or at least a game and a half until we see what happens this weekend. But the Lions, as it stands now, own the tiebreaker. And the Vikings are a game, have 2 losses compared to the Lions 1. So things are looking good there. The Commanders also got a win last week. So feeling pretty good about where those 2 bets stand. As we look ahead to week 8, I have 1 single play that I'm going to give out, and I'm going to do something that I don't normally do and I don't normally recommend doing, but I'm going to do a parlay. I think every now and then it's worth, a low probability, high reward bet that can potentially, jumpstart your bankroll a little bit. And I will go through each leg of that. So I'll jump right in with my single play. And I like the Jaguars at home +4 against the Packers. My initial reaction to seeing this line was to go with the Packers, which made me suspicious that I was so confident in it initially, and I gave it a little more thought and analysis, and I think the Jaguars are the right side here. They are coming off a big win in London against the Patriots. They seem to have maybe turned a corner, at least offensively. And the Packers are coming off a close win over the Texans. Yes, the Jaguars had to fly across the Atlantic after their game in London, but it's also a bit of travel for Green Bay to get down to Jacksonville. So I think that's kind of a wash at this point. I don't know. I just like the Jaguars to keep this close. I think potentially the Packers have sort of peaked and are maybe trending in the wrong direction despite getting the win last week. And I think maybe the Jaguars are trending up. And I just think at home, with momentum, they'll at the very least keep this close and possibly steal a win here. So I'm going to go with Jaguars +4 as my single bet. And now, moving on to my parlay, I'm going to do a half unit on this, just a half unit. And it pays plus 44.17, so a 22 unit payout. if it hits, if all 5 legs hit. So the first leg is the Atlanta Falcons at -2.5 at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay did not look great on Monday night against the Ravens. So they're coming in with a short week, hosting a division rival. I don't know, it just looks like there could be trouble in Tampa, and I think the Falcons should be able to cover this 2.5. Eagles at Bengals. Again, Cincy seems like a team trending in the right direction. Eagles have just sort of been shaky all year. I like their chances at home to cover that 2.5 point spread. Then I like the Cardinals money line. They are slight underdogs going into Miami. Tua Tagovailoa is returning to play quarterback for the Dolphins after suffering a concussion in week 2. So the Dolphins may look a little better than they've looked over the last couple of weeks, or the last several weeks, I should say. But I still think, I don't know, I'm not convinced that it'll be enough to beat the Cardinals. I just think Arizona's in a good position to come in and steal a win here. So I like Arizona, and I like the Bears at the Commanders. They're -2.5. Jaden Daniels went down with a rib injury last week. Still questionable as of now as to whether or not he'll play. But I think even if he does try to go out there and give it a go, is he really going to be himself? Is he going to be playing that, run around, make plays, take off and run type of football that makes him successful? I'm not convinced. I think the Bears will go into Washington and cover this 2.5. And to wrap it all up, I've got the Cowboys winning at San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. So I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Cowboys. I think San Francisco is looking shaky. If I'm going into Sunday night and all 4 legs have hit, all 4 of the earlier legs have hit, I may consider doing some kind of a hedge to guarantee that I sneak out with a little profit, but I'll have to sort of play that by ear. But these are my 5 legs for my parlay. So I'm going to see what happens. As always, I don't think I'll be doing too many of these the rest of the year, unless maybe this one hits and I get the parlay bug, who knows. But I do think long-term parlays are not really a winning formula. But again, coming off a good week last week, I decided to roll the dice a little bit. So we'll see how I do. I think it should be another good week of football. And looking again at that Buccaneers-Falcons game, one of my bets I didn't really touch on was the Mayfield MVP bet. He's looking a little shaky, or has looked a little shaky the last few weeks. His stock seems to be falling a little, but I still think he's only a couple explosive games away from being right at the top of the list. So we'll see what happens there. I guess the silver lining, if the Falcons don't cover the spread and help my parlay, would be Mayfield having a good game. So I will be back next week to see how these bets played out and offer some new bets for week 9. So thanks as always to everyone who's listened and watched my videos, and you will hear from me soon. Take care. Bye-bye.